This is Eric from Pack Hacker, and today we're taking a look at the EVERGOODS Civic Panel Loader 24, which I've been testing for the past 2 weeks. Let's dive in. So if you know EVERGOODS, you're probably pretty familiar with what you're looking at already, but we'll dive into these materials anyway. So we have 840D ballistic nylon 6. As you can see, it has picked up a couple of just dirty spots, but I found it to be pretty easy to clean with a sponge or really just even like a paper towel or something like that. I've tested a lot of EVERGOODS stuff and never had an issue with this material cleaning up. So that's a good thing, because if you get it dirty, you can clean it up pretty easily. And the solution dyed black, as you can see, very sleek. Really like how EVERGOODS bags look. And if you have experience with a Civic Panel Loader of a different size, it's basically the same bag, just smaller or bigger depending on which size that you have experience with. So these zippers are from YKK, one of the best brands in the business. I mean, if you've watched my reviews before, I kind of talk about them too much for how well they work. These ones are big and beefy, but they feel pretty adequately tasked with like what they're doing, so I can't really be too mad at that. They work as you'd expect them to. Have never had an issue personally with a YKK zipper. We have Duraflex hardware here from the buckles and then also the hard plastic adjusters. Again, a very good company. We've never really had issues with them, and just very simple, easy to work with plastic hardware. Can't complain about it. If you don't have to talk about it when you're using it, that's probably a good thing, because it didn't break or something like that. You're typically not going to be like, oh wow, this buckle's great. So that's all I have to say about that. So if you aren't familiar with EVERGOODS, this is their logo. So basically the way that this works is it's a square hook and loop fastener. And so you can attach a patch onto this, or really anything you want to put the opposite kind of hook and loop fastener on and stick it on there, or you can leave it as is. It has a diagonal line running through it, which is their logo. So it blends in pretty nicely if you don't want to put a patch there. So if you're from a distance, you really can't even tell it's there. But if you want to put a patch on it, you can. So it kind of gives you that versatility if you want to change the outside of this pack how it looks, because obviously the entire thing is black. So it's very, very minimalistic, but you could add a pop of color if you wanted to, or an identification patch or something like that, or just leave it like this. So we do have some handles to talk about here. We have the side handle on the side of the pack here, very wide, which I like, and then one on the top here, which isn't as wide, but offers like, this is how you're probably gonna grab it most of the time when you're grabbing the bag. So they both work pretty well. There's not really a ton of padding or anything like that. They have like a hard piece of plastic inside there, but they're durable. And I like this one just for the width. So if you were to, have to go 2 hands or something like that, you can do it. No handle on this side over here, and no water bottle pocket either, which I think looks nice, but I really like carrying a water bottle, so you either have to go inside or carry it elsewhere. So 2 handles, no water bottle pocket, not a ton going on around the outside, but I do like how it looks and it performs pretty well durability wise. We've got a very similar harness system to what we're seeing from EVERGOODS in the past, but again, we're gonna go over it because this is a full review. So the back panel, just by looking at it, doesn't look like it has a ton of aeration, but it does. If you get a little bit closer, you can kind of see the aeration in there, and it just breathes really well, especially for a backpack that is completely black. So obviously the sun is going to make this thing pretty warm, but it breathes pretty well for a backpack that doesn't have any white on it or anything like that. We've also got some pretty good padding here as well. It's not super thick or anything like that, but it does enough for especially this backpack size. And you are typically going to have like a laptop right here or something like that. If you're not bringing your computer, it's still comfortable, but you have like a nice thick kind of back panel from your computer, or if you were to put something else flat there. But it operates fine without that as well, so if you're not bringing a laptop, that's not a big deal. The shoulder straps have very similar padding and aeration, so these will stay cool and comfortable as well, and they have this S-curve. So this works for me personally. I like the S-curve, it's comfortable for me, but I know some people don't love it, so if you are someone who does not love S-curves on shoulder straps, this might not be the bag for you. But as you can see, we have a sternum strap here, small buckle, but pretty easy to manage. And it is on a ladder, so you can't make micro adjustments, but you can move it up and down the ladder. So if you like making super micro adjustments, you can't do that here, but I really like that you can remove this if you want to. And also it's not gonna move too much if it were to get caught on like a twig or a branch or something like that, or pulling it in and out of the trunk or something. So pretty simple harness system, but overall very comfortable and also pretty breathable, especially for an all black backpack. So if you have been finding this video helpful, make sure you throw a like on the video and subscribe to the channel so we can continue making content like this to help you travel smarter. So as you can see, I have the backpack on now. This is typically how I wear it. I could, obviously let it slouch down a little bit more or tighten it if I wanted to, but this is pretty good for me. And as you can see, it's just like in my lower back, right where my lower back basically ends. So if you did have a shorter torso, it might ride a little bit lower then. that if you did have it in this same kind of configuration tightness wise. And just overall very comfortable. I will say one thing about when you don't have a rail, you can't adjust the sternum strap while you're walking. Like say maybe like you're on a hike or walking through the city or something like that, and you get a little bit uncomfortable, you can't slide that easily. So it's just kind of stuck in the same position. But overall, a very comfortable backpack for me. And I do have actually quite a bit of stuff inside of here right now. I've got my computer and a couple of other tech items. So very comfortable. It just depends on what you're used to. And if you're used to a more hiking backpack, this is gonna feel different, but I don't think it's gonna feel uncomfortable to you. It's just gonna feel different, and it takes a little bit of getting used to. So we have 3 secondary compartments to work with, and we'll start with the one on the front. And this actually does have some organization inside of it, but I think maybe it's like a range of motion thing for me. You can access this pocket while you have the backpack on one shoulder, and it just never really felt super comfortable for me, so I didn't use organization a ton, so I just stow a hat in there a lot of the time. I also used, I put my packable rain jacket in there, especially this time of year in Michigan. You don't know if it's gonna rain. You could even get snow. It's been very warm lately, so we're probably not gonna get snow. But a good place to stow stuff like that you want quick access to, but not necessarily, you don't need it like in the main compartment or anything like that, or the top pocket, which we'll get into. But as you can see here, kind of hard to show you guys, but we do have a mesh pocket right here, which obviously has a zipper on the top. So anything you put inside there is gonna be secure. It's not gonna come out or anything like that. So good place to lock things down. And then we have some smaller pockets over here that do not have an opening. So you have like a medium-sized pocket, and then one that's a little bit smaller, probably for like a stylus, pens, or pencil or something like that over here. So a good amount of organization inside of here, and a pretty big pocket. As you can see, it goes all the way up to here and all the way down to here. So a pretty good sized pocket. You can fit a pretty good amount of stuff inside of there. I will say when I did stow my packable rain jacket, which is probably about this big, it did look a little bit lumpy because this was like taking up space and there wasn't anything in the other area. If you were to put, obviously a constant amount of gear up here, wouldn't be as much of a problem, but that's just something that I noticed. And as with the hat in there, I did not have that problem at all. So moving to the top here, we have this quick access pocket up here. I think they call it a yoke pocket on some of their bags. I'm not sure on this one for sure, but we have just a good place to stow your daily essentials. So I've got my wallet inside of there. If you guys watch my videos, you know that I typically have a black Chum surf shorts. I now have a trout one. So moving up in the world with the trout surf shorts wallet, and then my phone in there as well. As you can see, there is a key leash in here, and I like this one because it's not super long, or I've said it a million times, I like them to be either super short or pretty short, or super long. Super long so I can use it without taking the keys off, or short so it doesn't get in the way. This one's a little bit on the longer end of my preference, but it still works. Doesn't get in your way, and just kind of leaves this pocket for gear and not necessarily a bunch of, this getting wrapped around stuff. So good spot for, sunglasses, whatever you want to stow inside there, snacks, and you have quick access to it because whenever you take off the backpack, that's probably the pocket that is closest to you. On the side here, we have our laptop compartment, which has a nice little zipper garage there at the top, as you can see, so keeping water out. So you can see the top pocket doesn't, and I didn't close it all the way, so in theory, water could sneak inside there, but a nice garage for your computer, which is probably the most valuable thing you're gonna stow inside of this bag. We have a little red strap here with a hook and loop fastener that secures your laptop down. Just got a 15-inch MacBook Pro that I'm struggling to get out because I'm on camera. I swear it's not that hard in real life. Set that to the side. As you can see, we have pretty good padding here. It's dense padding, and it's not super cushy, if that makes sense, but I prefer that dense padding because it just makes me feel like my computer is a little bit more secure, and then also kind of backs up to the back panel here, so you have extra padding on that side than your gear on this side. So I never felt like my gear was unsafe. As you can see, this space does share space with this top pocket up here, but you can fit other extra stuff down here. So if you had a book or something like that, even a tablet or just documents you wanted to keep flat, this is a good place to do that because the laptop and the back panel are going to keep it flat. There is access to, there is a hard plastic frame sheet in here, and there's a zipper here that you can open and access that. So if you wanted to remove that or replace it or something like that, you could. I've never taken it out just because I have in the past on other backpacks, and then the bag kind of just feels, I don't know, it doesn't feel as structured. I like some structure in my backpack, so that's just something that I prefer to use. But those are the 3 secondary compartments. The main party is obviously inside the main compartment, but I like that you can kind of have quick access to the gear you might need quick access to, whether that be, some tech or, phone, wallet, and stuff like that. Also your laptop, without having to go into the main compartment, which we're about to dive into. So we have a nice clamshell style opening here, and as you can see, on the end of the zippers here, we have these little tabs. Show you a little bit closer there, which makes it handy for, just opening the zipper. If you didn't have that, you're kind of the bag's gonna move a little bit more. Obviously I'm on a flat surface, so maybe not the best example, but it makes it very easy to open the bag. We'll pop this open now. The clamshell style opening, as you can see, you can really get into the nitty gritty of organizing your gear because you just have so much space and you can see everything. But because there are two zippers, if you just want to throw something in the bag or grab something out quickly, you can bring them, up to the sides like this. And you don't have to open the whole thing to get something out if you don't want to. You stick your hand in there and grab what you want. Pull it out or just throw something on the top if you're trying to move in a quick manner. But really like how in pretty much all EverGoods bags you can really organize your gear like this. And especially, this is not really a travel backpack size, but if you're taking a short weekend trip, it's nice to be able to see everything and organize it properly before you get going. So on the lid here, we have two pockets. We have a liner pocket here so you can't see inside of there. So this is a good spot for pens, pencils, and stuff like that, because if you were to store them in here and something were to happen to one of the pens, that's never actually happened to me, but the ink could leak through and get everything all inky. So good place too for like a passport or something like that, a little bit of like just a little extra security from the elements because it has that liner material compared to the mesh here, which water or something could get into in theory. So large pocket here, this is a good spot for like socks and underwear. If you're like, maybe you're going to the gym after work or something like that, you want to bring some extra clothing. You're not gonna be able to fit a bunch of clothing inside of there, but you could fit probably like one outfit as long as it's not like a thick sweatshirt or something like that. And I just have my GoPro stowed inside of there just so I know where it is and I can see that I have it because I like to keep it with me. You never know when you want to take a video of something. And then we have the main compartment here, which as you can see, I've got a lot of stuff loaded inside of. We have a large packing cube, medium, small, or small packing cube, medium or small packing cube, depending on how you want to classify it. So quite a bit of room for that. I have my toiletry case that I have with me pretty much all the time. You never know when you want to brush your teeth after a stinky lunch or something like that. And then my tech pouch. So I did use this bag just with my tech pouch in here, and then I tried kind of moving things around into these compartments up here, into the front part compartment here. But I really prefer for something like this, there isn't like wholesale organization for much stuff here. There's a fair amount of organization that things will work for if you want them to, but I just really like having everything in one place so I can just grab it and go. And that's not really anything against this backpack, it's just a personal preference. And that's actually what I like about this bag, is that it's not really meant for any one thing, so you can use it for almost anything. You can use it as a work bag, you could use this as a carry-on bag or a personal item, depending on the airline that you're flying with. Just very versatile because there isn't anything that keeps you using it for just one thing. So that's one thing I like about EverGoods, and then this bag in particular. As you can see here, we do have a mesh pocket on the back panel here, so you can stow stuff inside of there, tablet, whatever you want to throw in there. We have some loops here, so you can attach gear inside of here if you want to. Then on the sides, we have this little side panels. They're made of metal, as you can see there, and you can take them out if you want to. That makes the bag more malleable. But again, similar to the back panel I talked about earlier, it takes away some of the like structure of the bag. As you can see, we don't have that over here. So this is kind of like keeping it on the side, like up and structured, and then the back panel just kind of keeps the whole thing together. So you can take those out if you want to. It would save some weight, but and also make this bag more malleable. You could probably like roll it up if you wanted to. Right now, obviously you can't do that because of both of these. But again, that's a personal preference thing. So overall, very happy with, as I mentioned earlier, the organization. It's not really stopping me from doing anything, and it's, just a versatile bag because of that, because you can use it for pretty much anything you want. And you pair that with the durable materials, as I'm getting the zipper stuck there because I'm pulling it the wrong way. You just have a bag that you can pretty much use for anything so long as the space allows it. You obviously can get a larger size of this bag if you want something a little bit bigger, but I really like how capable this is for the size. It fits, if you're going in the car, it's going to fit pretty easily on just the seat of your car. You can put it like almost under certain seats depending on what car you have, or in your trunk. So that's enough rambling about the size, but overall very happy with this bag. So there you have it, the EverGoods Civic Panel Loader 24 liter. Thanks for keeping it here at Pack Hacker, your guide to smarter travel. We'll see you in the next one.